Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic Hypersonic.
Positronic hypersonic.
Positronic Hypersonic.
I'm Barry P. Cook, and I'm here to talk to you about the season premiere of Doctor Who Season 2, as they're calling it on Disney. The episode was called The Robot Revolution, and as it starts with Mrs. Snow from last season as a witness, robots from space abduct a nurse named Belinda Chandra, whose ex-boyfriend Alan had named the robot's planetary system's main star after her 17 years before. Caught in a time fracture as he pursues the robots, the Doctor arrives on the planet 6 months earlier to find that the robots have enslaved the natives and joins a rebel group, rescuing Belinda with their help right after she arrives, just before the robots can make her marry an AI machine and cybernetically augment her into their queen. Just after this, in a rebel hideout, the Doctor briefly remembers having met Belinda's descendant on a prior occasion, which is actually in the 51st century, and which was something that occurred in an early episode of the previous season, as he catches her up on how he came to be on the planet himself, but in its past, after pursuing the robots when they grabbed her. He also explains how the star name certificate that Alan gave her and which she brought with her was also already there somehow, and that it wouldn't be a good thing if the two came together. Belinda then surrenders herself to the robots to protect the rebels and discovers, along with the Doctor, that the robots are being controlled by Alan, who was also abducted and turned into a cyborg, though seemingly by his own choice, after Belinda had told the robots about him during her abduction. But the time fracture caused the robots to bring him to the planet in 2015. And she also discovers that he caused the robot revolution in the first place. It turns out that Alan has the other version of Belinda's star certificate, which at one point somehow got set back in time 5,000 years and became the basis for the planet's society. Belinda touches the present version to the future version, triggering an explosion of a kind, which kills Alan and restores the robots to their pre-Alan-controlled state, at which point they're no longer a threat to the natives. The Doctor then agrees to return Belinda back to Earth, but the TARDIS is repelled from landing on Earth on her original abduction date in 2025, so he attempts to get the TARDIS to go around the problem. And after it dematerializes, debris, including the Eiffel Tower, part of the Statue of Liberty, Belinda's star certificate, and a calendar showing that the current date is May 24th, 2025, the day that she was abducted, float into frame, seemingly indicating that the Earth was destroyed on that date. And that's where the episode ended. So I did like this episode. I think it was classic Doctor Who, just a bizarre scenario involving robots and time travel and a good old-fashioned rebellion, followed by another rebellion, in which the Doctor is out to save the people that are being oppressed. I liked that the plot wasn't overly complicated. It was very simple. Sometimes Doctor Who gets in its own way with these super complex plot lines that I really don't like. So this didn't have that, and I thought it was great. And Ncuti Gatwa continues to be excellent as the Doctor. And I like his new companion, Belinda. I'm hoping we're going to find out more about how her descendants play into everything. What is the path between where she is now and how her descendant ended up on that planet in that previous episode. And I'm hoping, of course, we're going to see why the Earth blew up on that day. And I also hope we get to find out who Mrs. Snow actually is, assuming she's someone other than who she represents herself to be, a kindly old lady that happens to know about the Doctor and TARDISes and can apparently break the fourth wall. I'm hoping we get to see more about how her star name certificate wound up 5,000 years in the past and how the robots came to form their society around her. I don't know that that's necessarily going to happen because this did seem to be an encapsulated episode, beginning, middle, and end. But the star name certificate does float by in the debris field at the end of the episode, so I don't think we're done with that whole aspect of, Belinda's story. So hopefully we'll get to see that. I'm also hoping it won't be too much longer before we see Ruby Sunday again. I really like Ruby, and I'm disappointed that she's not going to feature prominently in this season, although she is supposed to be in some of the episodes. So I'm really looking forward to it, her return. And I'm really looking forward to next week's episode as well, because it looks like it's going to take place in the 50s on Earth. And there's already a villain that's been introduced in the trailer for the episode that's a cartoon character. So that's going to be interesting. But that's really it. I thought this was a pretty basic episode. There wasn't anything special about it, but I definitely feel like it was very much Doctor Who in terms of the wackiness of the story. And you know, I think it was a solid opening for the season. But that's really it. So I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back with another video soon. Until I return, I wish you peace and long life.